that are closing in 2024. Fuddruckers is expected to close all locations by the end of the year. Old Country Buffet is closing all remainder locations. IHOP is closing 100 underperforming locations. Buffalo Wild Wings is closing all Canada locations, as well as 60 locations in the US. Applebee's is closing 35 locations due to underperformance. Red Lobster is closing 50 locations due to financial struggles and high operational costs. Denny's is closing 20 locations by the end of the year. Marie Callender's is shutting down all remainder locations. Pizza Hut is planning to close 500 locations and focus more on delivery services. Outback Steakhouse is closing 41 of their 700 locations. Sbarro is closing a total of 50 locations, with majority being mall locations. Mart Pizza is closing a total of 27 locations. Ruby Tuesday is closing 16 more locations in 2024. PDQ is closing 8 of their 59 locations. Joe's Crab Shack is closing 41 of their 60 locations. Bonefish Grill is closing 7 locations due to under.
Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Yahweh being the true name for the Heavenly Father, Yahushai being named for His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and touch truth and will well, and salutations to your hopeful elect person in His truth and honesty and sincerity. This is Brother Yahweh coming to you now. This is Spirit Power, Yahweh Shai, another update, end times, and events. You've seen all these different restaurant chains that are shutting down in America, man. That goes to show how bad it is, and the reason why they're closing is because people can't afford to eat at these places. People are struggling financially. People still want to enjoy going out to eat, but they're not going as often, as frequent as they used to, because nobody has the money to sink it to going to pay so much money for one meal, and then you can't even afford to buy groceries. They'd rather put the money into your groceries and just cook at home because shit's too expensive, because the cost of food has gone up extremely high. The inflation at these grocery stores is out of this world, man. I just went last week, actually this week as well, trying to, get some food for the crib and for the kids and shit, man. And this shit's extremely expensive, man. Everybody's, pinching pennies and shit's just sitting on the shelves, nobody's buying that high organic stuff because it's upcharge on that. Nobody can pay for this shit, man. Cost of eggs is extremely expensive. So that affects these restaurant chains because they have to buy all that stuff in heavy bulk. So if they're not getting the customers that they need to pay for all the food that they need to buy, they're not making much of a profit, and they still got to pay taxes, and possibly if the building isn't already paid off and owned, they got to pay for that location too. They got to pay for that lease. So they're not making enough money. Even ordering pizza is extremely expensive, man. I know out here the only cheap pizza you probably get is maybe Papa John's, or even when you get that, the quality is terrible. They pump this food with all these preservatives. People are getting sick, and there's not enough workers to work all these locations. They don't have money to pay for the employees, so they're overworking the people that do work there. Just go, if you were to go today and go to one of these stores, one of these chains, you're gonna see probably top max maybe 3 people working in that facility when it's supposed to be like 6 to 10, maybe more. They can't afford to pay these employees. So what? These people don't want to work these jobs. They're not paying enough money, because of inflation. So this place is definitely collapsing, man. So it's rough out here, man. People are really struggling, and the food the one chains that are open, you really can't even trust the meat if it's a legitimate source. You got McDonald's, that's always thriving. Why? Because they've been said that, it's been a lot of testimony out there that is not 100% beef. They've done some type of demonic sacrifice to where they mix their meat with human meat. And you can't trust them with more than Burger King, Taco Bell. Taco Bell, as Taco Bell's ground beef is cooked with pork juice. You know, gotta avoid Taco Bell now. It's crazy, man. And they do this stuff to get people to become addicted. And people are starting to get woke to how poison the food is here. So they're not really fucking with fast food no more. So once you start seeing McDonald's start taking a hit, you know this place is really about the ticky time bomb. You know, but Pizza Hut closing down 500 plus locations, that's a big deal too, because at one point in time, that was the number one pizza chain in the U.S. And try to order pizza from there, man. It's expensive. It don't be real meat. They put pork on there on every damn thing. Why? Because pork is cheaper to buy. So, hey, this place is finished, man. Look at this. Red Lobster closing 50 locations. I can't remember the last time I even seen a Red Lobster, for real. What else they got out here, man? Denny's is closing down too, man. Applebee's, yep, they've been shutting down over the years. Applebee's has been taking a heavy hit, especially over here out in Missouri. Buffalo Wild Wings, wow. Closing all Canada locations, plus an additional 60 U.S. locations. Why? Because wings are super expensive. Chicken is becoming extremely expensive. The only chicken you can get cheap is if you buy it from one of them factories where that shit is highly processed, you know, GMO. It don't taste healthy at all when you eat it. You can get a pack of like chicken thigh legs at Walmart, and you get a cheaper bag of big ass, you know, chicken leg and thighs, but that chicken ain't raised right. Pumping all types of preservatives and shit like that. So the regular chicken, you know, that would be decent, shit is super expensive. You know, you used to be able to get a whole chicken for like $5. But now you go try to buy a whole rotisserie chicken, man, you're looking to pay 10, 15, maybe more for one. This is the book Ecclesiastes 12:3. It says, in the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Right, man. Grinders cease, you know, the workers, the workforce. Windows darkened. You're gonna see boarded up windows. Right down the street from me, they used to have a Captain D's. That was there for years, man. I mean, my whole childhood. A couple years ago, they shut down. Gone, man. There's a lot of places struggling. All these restaurant places, man, if they're not going viral, like on Instagram or TikTok, you know, because of some off-the-wall crazy portions or just really, really good, these restaurants are struggling. You know, and that they produce a lot of income for the state, you know, because they bring in that tax money. These small businesses already took a big ass hit when the C-19 thing hit in 2019, 2020. When that shit hit, they already shut down a whole lot. People were forced to learn how to cook. You know? And there's just no deals. You're not getting a good deal when you go out to eat. And you can tell when a place is getting ready to shut down when you do see crazy deals. Like Applebee's, most of them shits is closing down. And you go there, you can get like $1 margaritas and shit. You know, they really desperately trying to get people to come there. And the $1 margarita they give you may have half a shot of liquor in there. You know? But hey, man. Hey, this is the times we living in. This is the book of Ezekiel 7:19. It says, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity. Right, so these people are going to take, you know, these dollars and shit. They're just going to literally just be burning it for you know, warmth, for a fire, because it's going to be a total collapse. They're going to collapse this dollar. People are going to wake up and their bank accounts is going to have zero. I believe that just happened over there in Cuba. I think I see that news update about that. A lot of might be mistaken on the country, but one of these countries that they woke up, went to go get some money, and everybody was gone. All the money broke. The bank basically was holding on to that money and dumped it to pay off their debts, and they got snatched up. So you're gonna one day wake up and your account's gonna be zero or negative thousands and thousands of dollars. And then you go to try to use your cash, and the cash not going to be accepted. And the price, when you go to the store when that day happens, one loaf of bread going to be hundreds of dollars because everybody's going to be trying to get it. No truckers are going to be able to pay for the fuel to get those goods to the supermarkets, such as Walmart. So they're quickly going to become empty. So that means they're going to have to jack up the prices on everything. They're going to have security at the doors to make sure people can't come in, just ransack the place and try to loot. You know? So your cash is going to be useless. Your debit cards, your credit cards are going to be useless. They're talking about, BRICS is talking about doing away completely with the dollar this fall, like around October-ish. So a lot of countries aren't going to accept U.S. currency. More and more are doing away with it, are not wanting to deal with U.S. currency, not accepting U.S. money. So you're going to have to get some type of other currency. How are you going to get a hold of that? You're not even in that country, So, hey, America's got an extremely painful future ahead. When this collapse hits, a lot of people are going to be starving to death. A lot of people. And you got millions of people that have become 100% dependent on a supermarket. They don't know how to grow their own food, or are currently not growing their own food. They don't know how to raise livestock. They don't even know how to butcher an animal, how to clean it properly. They barely know how to clean a damn chicken and shit that they buy from the store, how to cut it up and portion it. People don't know how to hunt. You got a lot of people that do know how to fish a little bit, but hey, a lot of the places people go to fish have to be artificially stocked. Fish has to be brought into those local ponds and lakes and streams that people go fishing at. So the fish in those waters is gonna be quickly depleted. So unless you're going out to have a location out somewhere in the wilderness, you ain't finna eat off of that either, man. If people don't know how to hunt, there's a lot of things that your average American does not know how to do. So they're going to turn to killing each other and taking somebody else's things when they get desperate and they're starving. This is book of 2nd Esdras 15:19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Right, man. So people are going to be robbing, stealing, and killing each other. And when people are that desperate, that's when the UN and the United States government is going to come to you and say, hey, we know the U.S. dollar is crashed, but we have another form of currency that will be accepted. And you know what that's going to be put on? It ain't about to go on your damn debit and credit card, people. They're going to have it on a device called the RFID microchip implant. They're going to have one that they're going to have available to put in your hand. And that's what you're going to have to use to buy or sell. And if you don't accept that, you got to deal with being starved. And eventually, after they come out with in that way, they're going to say, hey, look, there's another illness that's out. We need this device to track, who's has been, juiced up and who hasn't. Who's had the quote-unquote preventive measures, the vaccine or not. Whoever has that max, is safe. We need to identify those that don't. So if you have that thing, you got to have this CHIP, this chip to identify. So you know what that's going to roll right into? Draconian laws and measures. Draconian laws are extremely inhumane, harsh laws. If you don't know what that is, they're going to come up with laws and say, hey, look, anybody that refuses to take this device for money and for the safety of the people, they're going to get the death penalty and in jail. That's the time that we're approaching, man. fastly approaching. Total collapse, leading right over to that, to control out of chaos. And we're going to try to seek more control of the people when that time hits. We'll get one more precept, a few more precepts to close out back in Revelation. Revelation 18 chapter goes into the financial collapse of Babylon the Great, aka America. Revelation 18:8 says, Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is Yahweh who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the field of torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, thy mighty city, for in 1 hour thy judgment is come. Okay, so other countries, you're going to have other countries actually crying because they have so much investment over here. You know, think of all the things that you see on your back of these things you buy in the stores. It's made in what? China, made in Vietnam, you know, made in so-and-so. They have a lot of money over here. All these foreign cars over here. You know, you see a lot of foreign cars. You know, some of them countries that have great big business over here, they're going to be the ones mourning. It says, And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. So nobody's going to buy shit. So right now you're seeing it happening with the restaurant, these restaurant chains, these big chains that's been open for, you know, years, decades. You know, I mean, seeing since we've been children, 50 plus, 60 plus years, all of a sudden now, this year, look at all these ones shutting down, man. It says, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, scarlet, and all fine wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of precious wood, and brass, and iron, and marble, cinnamon, odors, ointments, frankincense, wine, oil, fine flour, wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. Right, man? So all commerce, all produce, you know, different merchandise, just can't get it. I mean, I'm talking even Amazon closing the fuck down. Can't order it. Too expensive. Can't use that platform unless you have that device. You know? It says, the merchants of these things which are made rich by her shall stand afar off for the field of her torment, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet. Which, by the way, that fine linen, purple, and scarlet, that was the original blueprints, plans for the Statue of Liberty. So this future prophecy is definitely talking about America. It says, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off. Remember all them ships over there on the west coast that we heard about last year or the year before? Just sitting there offshore, couldn't get into the trade port. You still got shit parked out there, man, in the ocean, blocking everything off. This place is crumbling, man. So you need to mentally prepare yourself for what's to come. Spiritually prepare yourself. Physically prepare yourself. Spiritually, number one, you know, call upon the name of Yahweh Shem Yahshai, get this truth, this understanding, so the Lord can take care of you in that day. He'll make a way out of no way, you know, because all the information I'm bringing you, it seems like, you know, it's damn near impossible to survive, but the Lord's going to take care of his elect as his chosen. You know, so you need to be you're part of that team. If you don't follow the true message and these scriptures and this word the brothers have been preaching about, you're not called upon the name of the Lord, or you're not an Israelite, hey, then you're done. You're going to suffer all these things that I mentioned, man. Bring all this information, bring it out. And physically take some action, too, to prepare yourself, man. Do something, you know. Get into the knowledge of different survival situations and the herbs, wild medicine, how to grow food. Get you some chickens or something, just something to get through each wave, because it's going to come in waves, And also, it says in 1 hour within that scripture, so that goes to show how fast this shit can just collapse. It's how fast, man. So you're going to have to survive the waves of the aftermath when they collapse this dollar. For a while, you might be at your crib for a little bit, but hey, you got to be prepared. You can't stay put. You got to get the fuck away from the city, as far away from the city as you possibly can. Because it's going to be like the Purge, man. It's going to be like Civil War. Times 1,000. That movie Civil War, go watch that new movie Civil War. Hey, they'll let you know what time we in. So Lord's will is edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKadosh. Double honors to our apostles and elders, the great millstone, Tasha's truth and will well. And salutations to you, hopefully I put this truth and all sincerity. Shalom.